Unfortunately, a lot of the stuff you use is quite old because that seems to be made a lot better. And there's so much attention put into how it sounds and the production aspect of it and the engineering aspect of it. That's like a constant thing that we're always trying to search out. I don't know, unfortunately, a lot of the stuff you use is quite old because that seems to be made a lot better.
And it seems to sound a lot better as well.
Yeah, but that was not trying to... They were trying to make something sound how we wanted it, not trying to emulate a sound. I have no real interest in that, really. I'll leave that to Reg Studios, which do a really good job of it and make really exciting records, but it's not for us.
Because you did with the producer, Geoff Barrow, if I'm correct?
Yeah, it was Geoff Barrow and Craig Sylvie, and a couple of tracks by Chris Cunningham.
Can you maybe remember your first chat you had with him?
Yeah, I can actually. We were talking about Selena string synthesizers. So that was, and we hit it off straight away.
In hip-hop?
On that, yeah, in hip-hop. Yeah, Geoff was, I don't know, Geoff's like just a like-minded character. He loves his records and he's got a similar attitude towards music as well, and towards his music and other people's music, and he's just opinionated and he hates the rubbish just as much as we do, and he loves the good stuff.
How would you maybe describe the attitude that can you maybe describe it a little bit, that you share with him?
I think it's just it's passion, isn't it? It's an actual, you know, obsession. It's not. I don't know. To be honest, I've never really sat down with someone whose music I think is really awful and talked to them about their attitudes towards it. And I imagine it'd be pretty obvious why their music's awful from the start. And I think some people have got it right and some people have got it wrong.
I don't think people have enough respect anymore, to be honest. There's just not enough respect for music.
Yeah.
But do you think maybe it's do you see it as a bad thing that now, through all the technology nowadays, that everyone has the opportunity to make music?
Oh, it's amazing.
And
it's like the
brilliant.
best thing ever. Unfortunately, you know,
You just got to
there's just going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of shit.
I mean, like back in the day, you had them little booths where you could go in and like make a record, didn't you? It's just that on a wider scale.
I mean, it's also, I guess, I don't know, it can lead to cheaper sounding music because the techniques involved end up becoming quite homogenised. And I don't know, Geoff was saying this as well. He was saying how you'd record a much better record on a 4-track than you would on Pro Tools.
Because you have to think more.
Yeah, and you got to think more, and you're limited, and you have to think within those 4 tracks, and your technique will be inevitably much better giving limits, as opposed to being able to actually being unlimited.
Has there been a certain track on the record where you had to cut down some parts, or maybe to strip it a little
Geoff
bit?
was pretty good at actually. Geoff's actually main role throughout the sessions was telling us
not
to
letting us record.
Yeah. He was telling us no, don't, because we had a demoed album that we recorded ourselves, and that's what had convinced him to work with us. And he was so into the demos and he was so into what we'd done that he was adamant that we shouldn't take it too far. And we had other ideas that, you know, maybe actually would have over-egged the pudding, or, you know, could have spoiled it somewhat. And he was quite good at, you know, kind of reining in the ideas.
But how different is the demo if you compare it now to the
it's
original?
pretty much the same, just doesn't sound quite as good.
Yeah, there's just there's it still has the same essence, but it's more concentrated in the final recordings.
We should have just, yeah. I think in the future we'll just record them, like we'll record the demos as if they were, you know, the final tracks. There's an amazing energy you get when you've done the song for the first time that's next to impossible to recreate.
With who did you record the previous album? Actually, the first, The Strange House?
Loads of people.
That was different.
Jim Sclavinos, Ben Hillier, Adam Mulder,
and Cowan.
Yeah, who all are amazing people, and we've learnt a lot from.
Well, I was listening and comparing a little bit the albums. I thought, well, the thing that came in mind, I thought maybe you switched one decade up. Would you say agree?
Yeah. What from the what decade would you place the last album?
I'd say more in the late 70s, early 90s, maybe something like that.
This album,
the new one's
the new one, yeah. And I thought the other one was more like 10 years before that.
I don't know. I don't think that's I think that's just, you know, depending on the music that we're listening to now, and you know, the music I mean, you know, it's 2 years. I mean, you know, how many records have you know, have you found over the last 2 years? It's just happened. It's just natural progression. It's not. Yeah, well, no. I don't know. Next album's like what, 2050.
Yeah.
Next album will be way ahead of the time.
Can you maybe the futuristic sound experiments then?
I'd say we're pretty much doing that already.